Welcome to This Open House, where we talk about all things real estate related. With your hosts, David and Rebecca Guthrie of the Hacienda Group at Long Realty Company.
Oh, one of my favorite times of the week. Welcome yet again. I'm your host, David Guthrie, Hacienda Group at Long Realty Company, with my amazing, beautiful... She's not a sidekick. She's actually my boss, okay? It's
not true.
You know...
It's not true.
You know, she's... What do they say in that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Oh, the husband
she's
is
the
head, the woman is the neck, and she can turn the head any way she wants to.
Yeah, she just lets me think I'm in charge, but
it's not true. He's in charge. We're both in charge.
I am very, very blessed. And you know what? This week has just been absolutely crazy. But before we jump right in, there's a couple of things I want to let you guys know. First of all, if you need to reach us any time of the week, I'm not going to say day or night because we'll get back to you at a reasonable hour, but you can always text, call 520-462-2611. That's 520-462-2611. Email us your real estate questions or show ideas to info@thisopenhouseshow.com. And if you'd like to have full MLS search, see every single property that's available to you at time, that is day or night, you can always go to www.thisopenhouseshow.com. Now, we just celebrated a pretty big holiday here that I'm sure everybody is celebrating. Friday, March 5th, Employee Appreciation Day. What a great day.
That's a fantastic holiday.
It is a great holiday. And for us, we have fantastic staff, I got to say.
We have amazing women who work with us.
Yeah, some of the best staff. I'm getting a little bit outnumbered here on this team because I am the only male on the group here.
True.
But you know what? It's all right. It's all right. They keep me in line really well. But Friday, March 5th, and it got me thinking.
So we want to do a shout out to Angie and Nanette for being so awesome.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you, Nanette.
Yeah, and for our clients who we are blessed enough to help walk through, they get the pleasure of being able to interact with these great women throughout this process. So we are just so blessed to be able to have wonderful, wonderful staff. And it gets me thinking a little bit about, where we came from, going from your first job to running a multi-million-dollar business in sales yearly. So, Rebecca, what's your first job?
What was my first
job? Yeah, what was your
job?
first job?
Stamping and putting labels on envelopes when I was 7 for political campaigns.
Wow. Okay.
That's what I did. I got paid a penny
did you
per
have a
envelope.
Sponge? That's great.
No, you didn't have a sponge at this point. That we had.
You were 7?
I was 7. We had not moved to sponges yet. You use paper towels.
Wow.
Now glue sticks. Just anybody who's ever wanted to do big mailer campaign, glue sticks all the way. Makes it so much better.
That's wild. Yeah, and it just brings me back. I got to think back in time a little bit. And I've had a number of different jobs. And it's really hard to look back. I did bussing tables, worked at, if you remember, the iconic Austin's Ice Cream
I miss
shop.
Austin's Ice Cream. They had good ice cream.
And
Well, they
really
did until they
cool-
moved to the Broadway. They were on Broadway and Country Club, and then they moved. And when they moved, it all went.
Yeah, the Broadway Country Club location was where it's at. The sodas, all of the things. But really, my first job, and it's interesting just how it kind of sets you up. I remember polishing faucets and kind of doing some sweeping and running around, helping my dad, who I got to say is one of the best sales consultants that I know, Ernie Guthrie, down at Benjamin Supply. He ended up getting me in over there when I was a little kid. And a number of things happened. We helped move from their Congress location where they're at on 440 North 7th Avenue right now. But, I'm sitting there, I'm polishing up faucets and doing all these things. And I had the opportunity to listen to my dad just be able to help all of these people come in. And it was so weird because I always thought, my dad sells toilets. I mean, it's kind of an interesting product and it just gets you thinking about people in different ways. But, he came in, always on a first name basis. They always had a first name basis with him, and he would talk and just get to know them and get to know. And all of a sudden, like, he's selling these toilets. And I just want to give, when credit is due, thank you, Dad, for helping me just be able to learn sales from a way that most people haven't had a chance to do. And I want to give a shout out to everybody out there who is looking. If you want the best service, anybody can go get plumbing anywhere, but their showroom has been open the entire time. Consultation are by appointment only, and you can go in there. They have all the high-end stuff, but they also have a wide variety of many other things. So go in there, ask for Ernie Guthrie, tell him we sent you over there. And with that, let's get into market stats.
Sounds good, because it's a crazy market, guys. It is just this week we made an offer on a house that there were 17 offers on. Or not our clients. We helped a client make an offer. It's crazy out there.
Yeah, 17 offers. This home listed at about $225. And my understanding is they had an offer up to $285. This is just a little 3-bedroom house
in Sahuarita.
In Rancho Sahuarita. Not really anything.
So it's a little insane out there, guys, right now.
It's a little bit insane, and I gotta say, the real estate agents out here, we understand what we're looking at is a few things here. We're looking at, is this thing gonna appraise? What's reality? And sometimes that's not always jiving with what people are willing to pay, especially if they're coming across state lines or what have you. You can't buy a closet for $285,000 in some parts of the country here. So they're like, whatever, we'll go ahead and pay it, and it'll become a comp down the road later on. But that kind of movement really puts a lot of pressure and is difficult to sustain. Our housing report, just the greater Tucson market for February, we were showing an increase in median sales price of homes of up from 27%, looking back from January 20 to January 21.
Wow.
It's just absolutely nuts, 27%. And so when we look at these things, the inventory is still extremely low, which if it wasn't, we'd have a different problem. That's when we really start talking bubbles and different things like that. Nationally speaking, could be a different discussion, but here, Tucson, where real estate is very much local, I'm just not seeing that. We have had a slight increase in active listings to 618 in the city of Tucson. That is down from 583 last week, and we were at about 808 as of January 16th. So we're still way low, and we're looking at a median sales price in the last 3 months in the city of Tucson, $251,000 with the days on market of 6.
So in case you're wondering, so like, what's a balanced market? We consider a balanced market to be 6 months, which means if no other properties came on the market, you picked a date and no other properties came on the market from that date, it would take 6 months to sell all of the property.
Balance between buyer and seller.
Balance between buyer and seller.
Maybe an appreciation rate that would equal inflation around there.
Right. So that gives you a sense of, if our average days on market is 6, and a balanced market between buyers and sellers is 6 months. That just tells you a lot.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, this is not a balanced market,
No.
and it can't be with this kind of supply. And so the question really is, for me, with our sellers, the clients that we represent here, it really truly is not always the most money that you can milk out of this property right now, because chances are you're going to be able to go into an insane territory, way more than maybe you're expecting or your property deserves. But the fact of the matter is, you need this to close.
Right.
And you need a good quality buyer. And so, some of the things that you might want to be asking yourself, sure, a lot of ways you can put a sign out front and just for sale by owner. And in many cases that works really well. for some people. We've been working with a number of those lately to help some of our clients on the buy side. However, you need help, and in many ways. Is your agent calling every single lender? Do you understand all the nuances of their financing? If it's cash, great. What kind of earnest deposit do we have here? $500K cash buyer who just walked away from $1 million sale and is moving out here. The $5,000 they're putting down in earnest money may really not be very much money to them.
Right.
So what are you guys doing in order to ensure that you're actually going to close? Those are some of the questions that you need to ask yourself. And speaking of questions, let's talk about what you're going to do when you close your real estate after you end up leaving this good earth. This month, we're going to be talking a lot about estate planning and different things like that. We're going to have some great guests on. And so coming up there after the break, we're going to talk a little bit about that.
So we're going to take a break. We'll catch you on the other side.
Are you interested in the real estate market? What does low inventory actually mean? Funny, real-life real estate stories and things you should never do if you're looking to buy or sell a home. Join me, David Guthrie, and my wife, Rebecca Guthrie. We are full-time real estate agents with the Hacienda Group at Long Realty Company for This Open House on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on 1030 The Voice, where we will discuss all this and more. That's This Open House on Saturdays at 11 on 1030 The Voice. All right, we're back again. This open house show. I'm your host, David Guthrie, Hacienda Group, Long Realty Company, with Rebecca.
Hi, guys.
All right. If you guys want to reach us again, the number's 520-462-2611. And you can email us info@thisopenhouseshow.com. And you can also go to our website 24/7, www.thisopenhouseshow.com. Really quickly, before we get into estates, just finishing up, it looks like the next numbers for the annual inflation rate is going to be coming out March 10th. So in a couple of days here, we'll definitely talk about that next week here. But for January 2021, it looks like it's sitting at 1.4% for the 12 months that ended in January 21. And the Fed is continuing to say that they're going to support until inflation hits about 2%.
Yep.
Things are crazy out there. The interest rates are going up, and it has been a very interesting time to be alive here. So let's talk about some estate issues. First of all, big disclaimer here. First of all, we are not attorneys, all right? We're not.
We're not attorneys.
And we don't play one on TV.
You stole my joke.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, John, as witness, can tell me you stole my joke. That was my
I don't know if our
joke.
producer's going to jump in and tell us any of this.
He's not getting involved. He's like, nope, not getting involved. No, that was my joke. And David said it wasn't funny, and I decided not to do it, and he stole it.
All right, so guys,
this is life.
If it's not funny, Rebecca totally thought about it. But if you think it was a funny joke, then yeah, you can attribute it to me. I'll be okay with that. So anyhow, we're not attorneys, guys.
And we don't play one on TV.
There are so many factors with estate planning. There are tons.
You're a little stinker. I love you so much, but you are a little stinker.
There are tons.
Oh,
There are tons of
but estate planning does matter. It's really
issues.
important. It's very important. So
Yeah.
we're going to be serious and we're going to talk about it.
Some of the things that people consider when they're talking about estate planning and these different things is you have a lot of different ways to take title. You know, if you're married, it is assumed that you're going to take title community property with rights of survivorship. But that might not always be best for everybody. It just really depends on your situation. There are some people, especially, they may be in their second, third, fourth, or sixth marriage or something with, multiple extensions, and, they're coming together and they're like, yeah, we don't really want that. We want to do something totally different. So your situation could be so unique that you need to have somebody who actually has litigated these kind of things,
right,
and know, hey, it's time to step in here. But some of the things that we see oftentimes that just from a real estate agent's perspective is we get to see what happens after parents unfortunately pass and they lovingly, with really great intention, leave a house to kids.
Right. And they've got great, they mean really well.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's biblical, guys. Leave an inheritance to
Right.
your children
It's
and
children's children.
yeah, children's children even. So to be able to have things that you can pass on that are tangible, we're a big believer in passing on real estate to children. But not only do you have tax possible consequences
Right.
and issues that you need to think about with your estate. Where are these children located? What are their goals? What are their dreams? Are they financially savvy enough to be able to handle and make decisions with a piece of property
Right.
that's needed? I mean, it's not just about age. There are lots of people who just are not mentally there, or they don't have the life experience. Right. So paying professionals well to set stuff up, and we have a lot of people who I've seen great success with, some of which we will have on our show and
Yes.
kind of talk to you about some of the big things that they think. But I see a lot of issues where, let's say, mom and dad pass, and they lovingly leave a house, and they say, hey, we're just going to put all the siblings on this, and we'll just make them all joint tenants in this home, and they each have ownership in here. And so, joint tenancy deed is an interesting type of deed. It's where you have ownership, and it's equal and undivided interest in a property. So unlike in the Brady Bunch or whatever, where a sibling is fighting over their room, and all of a sudden you walk in and there's this tape line in the middle, that's maybe an equal divided interest in the space, and a sister gets one side and a brother gets the other. But in these transactions, it is equal but undivided, and they all need to be united
Right.
in order to make decisions for that property. And so what happens if the brothers aren't really getting along all that well?
Right.
Do you really know everything that's going on there? What happens if one of the brothers or sisters or whoever it is, spouses,
Right.
decides that they don't want to do something, and things get delayed or messy or stopped? Are you going to be sure that all of those things are going to
Right.
be fine?
At the end of this, is everybody going to walk away still remembering that they're family? We've seen that happen.
Right.
We've seen that
lot of
happen over
fighting
selling mom and dad's house.
that goes on. There's a lot of issues with that. And so, unknown factors that you may not be thinking about, and you're probably thinking, you know what? My kids love each other. Everything is going to be perfect. Everything is going to be fine. Well, that may very well be true. But what happens if one of the siblings has some kind of need for money quickly,
Right.
and the other one doesn't, and they want to hold on to it, but they don't have the ability to buy out the other sibling or what have you? I could go on
And we've seen all of this, which is
on
part of why we're talking about it.
and on. Yeah, we've seen a lot of this. What happens if the siblings don't have the ability to maintain the property?
Right. They don't have the financial wherewithal to do that.
Right. And it ends up going really far downhill, and in something that should be a blessing ends up being more of a curse.
Right.
Because
Things happen to houses. Roofs need to be replaced. Sometimes you have a random pipe crack. Things happen. And if
Yeah.
there's not the ability for the family to maintain the house, then it's just going to devolve.
are you sure there's not going to be some hidden defect that's
Right.
going to then have a big issue? And then one sibling says, let's just get it done so we could move on with this and not have liability. And I says, no, let's keep it. So that's the thing. It's equal, undivided interest, but all parties have to be united. And one of the scariest things that I see about joint tenancy out there, and in many cases, this works really well. Again, consult your legal team to see if this is something that is going to work for you. But I don't know about you, but owning property with somebody else, and they're able to share off their interest.
Right.
So now Sister Susie decides, you know what? Brother Bob is not going to move on this, share on this. I'm going to go ahead and sell off my interest to some, who knows, or even worse, I'm terminally ill and now I'm going to pass my share off to my 3 kids.
Right.
Which happens. Now that gets divided up, and now you have 4 people who
Right.
need to make decisions here.
together.
And boy, is that complicated.
Right.
You know, and so and the thing is that Brother Bob has nothing to say if Sister Susie wants to do that. She can give it to her kids. She can give it to her boyfriend or girlfriend. She can give it wherever she wants, to whomever she wants, for whatever price she wants to give it if somebody's able to take it. And Brother Bob has absolutely nothing to say about that. And so that's kind of a scary thought.
It
There's
is.
just a lot of unknowns out there, Mom and Dad. So when you're sitting there and you're thinking, I really, really, really want to do something to love my children, maybe one of the best and most loving things that you can do is reach out. And again, we've got some great people that you can talk to here who have helped our clients out a lot, is get your estate planned. Trusts are an amazing vehicle.
Yep.
Wills are great vehicles. Some people put properties into different corporations.
There's
There are-
lots of ways to do it.
There are lots and lots of ways to do this in order to make sure that what ends up happening at the end of the day is what's best for the family and what you intend to happen to your legacy
Right.
and all of the things that you have worked so hard to build. You know, Rebecca and I, even though our children are very, very, very young, what we don't want to have happen is for other family members to have to be the bad guy if they're the most responsible one and come in and make certain decisions and certain things. We don't want to create division
Or
and conflict. And we also want to make sure that, the interest is protected, and we have people fighting for our children and our estate's best interest. And so one of the things that we've decided is, we would rather be the bad guy and have maybe our kids not love exactly the situation, not totally understand it, but we're going to go ahead and set things into motion and have executors and trustees be able to come in
Right.
and execute those things.
Because we've laid it out very clearly. So
we've laid it out.
you need the sad truth is everybody's going to die. It's just true.
Death and taxes.
Death and taxes. So you're going to have to pay estate taxes, and you're going to die. And
Well, wait. I didn't think you paid taxes if you were a congressperson.
okay, well, I am not touching that with a 10-foot pole. So moving on.
I think politicians are exempt, right?
I don't know. I
No?
do know they die. So
They do.
everybody's going to die, and you don't know when you're going to die. And the thing is that I can tell you horror stories of people who have died young and left a huge mess because they didn't think they were going to die young. And I can tell you horror stories of people who were terminally ill and didn't clean up what they needed to clean up and left their families a huge mess on top of grieving the loss of mom and dad. So really, truly, we know this is not the funnest thing to think about, but love the people that are in your life and think about it.
The last thing you want is to pass into glory from this beautiful
Mortal
green
coil.
earth
Mortal coil.
and die intestate, meaning you do not have these things in, and
Yep.
the state
Gets to
gets
decide.
to decide. You don't want that. I
Nope.
don't care what political persuasion you are. Look at the government. Do you want them deciding what's going on? And if you do not have any next of kin or any of these things, contrary to the letters that I keep getting from princes in Africa who say that I have some relative that's like wanting to give me millions of dollars. The reality is do you want your stuff just going to the state?
Right.
No. Charities are an amazing way to designate.
Right. There's a lot of options.
There's a
So
lot of good that you guys can do out there with what you have built. So whether you are a single person in your early 20s who have stepped out into home ownership, or you're in your 90s and you're looking at, well, what the heck am I going to do? This is a good thing to start thinking about.
So if you have questions and you want to get some ideas of who to talk to, or you want to talk to us some more, you can reach us at info@thisopenhouseshow.com. You can go to thisopenhouseshow.com, and we would be happy to help you. Thank you.
520-462-2611. Text, call, anytime. We'll get back to you ASAP.
So thank you so much for joining us today. We hope this was helpful, and we will catch you next week. Have a great week.